and we're off running. We're doing it live. We'll do it live. I'll write it. We'll do it live. So guys, today we're talking about patriotic movies. What does it mean to be patriotic in America? What we've learned from watching movies in America, red, white, and blue. We'll punch you in the face. We'll blow you up. We will squash you like an ant. Aliens coming to invade us? No way, Jose. We will send the President of the United States in a jet fighter to destroy your, well, to do a kamikaze thing. But he will die for this country because he will go down with the ship. He was the captain. He is the president. He is Bill Pullman. He is Lone Star, the infamous Lone Star. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to see you. I'm excited to be here. I hope you're excited to be there. Today we're talking about patriotic movies and what does it mean to be a patriot in the United States. What have we learned? What does it mean? I'll tell you, Independence Day, ID4. Why do they even call it ID4? I don't know. ID4 sounds like sounds like they ran out of ways to abbreviate movies for catchy, flashy titles. So I'm just getting settled here, situated. Hope you guys are too. Pull up a chair, pull up a coffee, put me on in the background, sit down, relax, go put your head underwater in the pool. I don't know what that means. Remember how fun it was to get water up your nose? Were you the kid that had to wear like earplugs in the pool, nose plugs? Did you have to wear this and the goggles? Were you that kid? Goggles were fun. Let's get the show started. Welcome, Veronica. Just looking around here, seeing who's around here. Always take we settle into it.
Here's Dr. Baby Yoda Fauci with a message for you, everybody out there. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to see that you've been practicing safe social distancing. You should probably be in the nearest star system next to the next person. This is a galaxy-wide pandemic. All the way from Tatooine to Mustafir. We do not take this lightly in the Empire. I mean the New Republic. I don't know where I'm from. It doesn't matter. I have no allegiance to anybody. I just know how a virus works. A virus is telling truth. People are like, listen, I'm being safe. I'm having social distance parties. I'm keeping safe. I'm not going out. But you know what else? The virus is telling us a different story. The virus is telling us the true story of what's happening out there, if you've noticed. Now, I really urge you to wear a mask and stay 6 feet away from the next Chewbacca, from the next Wookiee. How about that? I brought a special guest with me today. He's you might recognize him. You need 2 hands for this, but I'll let you do it. What he just said in Wookiee was, don't be an idiot. He said, do I even have to ask? Wear a damn mask. Thank you, Dr. Baby Yoda Fauci, for your insight on this. You're quite the genius. Hello, everybody. What's up, Will? I hope you're enjoying your 4th of July observed at work or not at work. I am just getting fueled up here on some coffee. We're going to talk about patriotic movies and what does it mean to be a patriotic movie? I like the United States' idea of the United States. I was born here, so I can't help but like it. It's like one of those things. It's born from familiarity. I am familiar with it, so therefore I like it. If you watch a thing enough times, you will like it. It's actually science. It's a scientific truity, scientific fact. Is truity a word? I just made it up.
It's truthiness. Good Chewy. Yeah, Chewy he's a friend of the show. I can't do it anymore. Chewy he's my best friend. Chewy's my co-pilot, and so is Dr. Baby Yoda Fauci. We're friends here. You know, I was thinking about this. I wore a shirt. I have a shirt that's a parody. It says, "Don't start wars." It's a shirt you can get from Ames Brothers. The bass player from Pearl Jam has a t-shirt company, an art company with his brother Barry. Jeff and Barry Ament. They have a company called the Ames Brothers. You know, branding. And it's a cool shirt. It says, "Don't start wars," but it looks like it says Star Wars. People, you know, it's in the font, it's in the look. And I was all masked up the other day in public trying to get a slice of pie. Socially distanced pie. And the guy, it's like everybody's on edge. Everybody wants to put their 2 cents in. Nobody's happy with where they're working. The guy at the store, masked up himself, he's like reading my shirt. "Don't start wars." I'm like, yeah. I was in a particularly conservative part of this area. And I was like, yeah. He's like, you know, if we don't... wars, the economy is based on war. And if we don't have wars, then we don't have an economy. And I said, you know, I really wonder about that. You know why I said that? Because I was like, he's going to go make my food now. I don't want him to spit in it. But what I wanted to tell him was, that's a fallacy. That is called the broken window fallacy. That means if we didn't have any broken windows, we wouldn't have jobs to have for people who fix windows. So let's go around breaking windows. Freaking some people, though, are so conservative. Not conservative. This is not conservative idea. Conservative idea would be like, let's build up our defense. Because it's a defense. There's a reason a country should have a defense. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? Throttlers out there. You should be able to defend your own interests. However, the shirt says don't start wars. And the United States is notorious for starting unnecessary wars. We've done that a few times, haven't we? Unnecessary and unwinnable wars we like to do. That's how we do here in America. God damn it, we will kick your ass. That's our motto. Hey, Will. I tried to clock in this morning, but anyone else clocked in and finally registered. Uh-oh. Will, you need to get paid if you're working. Can you write it in on your card? Or is it just like one of them electronic? I used to have a punch card, like a clock-in punch card, my very first job, where you had to line it up and go on the thing. On the time clock. Or you could write it in, and then you'd have to get the manager to, like, initial it. Breaking down rhetorical fallacies on the humbug. I bow to the volumes of your repertoire. Well, thank you so much. It's just very frustrating because you don't ever want to... Someone who's got control of your food, you don't want to mess with them. You just want to let it go. It's hard for me to let something go sometimes. He seemed like he wanted to educate me about war in that moment, and I was like, listen, buddy, you're not educating me. I'm wearing this shirt for a reason. I don't think it's good to start wars. Particularly unnecessary wars. Wars are a reason to defend your interest and way of life. That is the only good time a war should happen. Like when they allowed Pearl Harbor to happen so that we could enter the war to protect the Western way of life and create a new world order. All right, here we are. I told you we'd be cheery. I told you we'd be bringing the charm and the happiness. It's a new world order, isn't it? Hey there on YouTube. Welcome to YouTube. Yeah, here's what does stimulate the economy. Production, industry, innovation, educated folks, people who are like working. If you want to, you got to defund the police. The police is just a mob sometimes when you got too many police who are using force unnecessarily. You need to bring in the force when it's necessary. That's one of the things that we don't understand here in the United States. We are Americans. We will punch your face and then ask questions. Am I right? You gotta get bespangled. By the way, it is when people get upset, we're just gonna go on tangents here. Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. Happy America Independence Day. It's okay. Everyone can lurk. Tatiana, you're allowed to lurk. You don't need to be involved. I just like to know that you're there. I appreciate you listening. Well, you see, it's very funny because when people get upset about burning the flag, they're like, "Do not burn the flag. That's a desecration of our way of life. And, well, people died for that flag." And you're like, "Well, people died for our way of life. They didn't die for a flag. They died for the ideas that are in our Constitution. They didn't die for a piece of cloth." So when people get upset about burning the flag, which is an expression, which is your right, you are allowed to do that. It's protected under the First Amendment. You can express your disgust with an idea in public. And if you get upset about it, if you're the same person who gets upset about someone burning a flag because you're like, "You're not allowed to burn a flag, it stipulates that you should not burn a flag, you blah, 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 blah." I don't know why I stereotypically gave that person a southern accent, but I'll give them a New York accent because I've heard it in New York. "If you burn the flag, you're destroying the idea in America. America, I'm going to eat a hot dog." The rules of the flag are as follows. Now, if you are someone who gets upset about someone burning a flag, it's not part of the rules. Flag should never it should never touch anything beneath it, such as the ground, the floor, water, or merchandise. Now, this is if you even care about this, because it doesn't matter. These are flag code. It just means these are suggestions that on how to honor the flag. Just as you were symbolically burning it, just as you would symbolically burn the American flag, you would say, "I don't like it. I would like to show my thoughts. I would like to express my First Amendment rights by burning it." You could also express your honor toward the flag in such ways, which are the acceptable ways according to U.S. flag code. The flag should never be carried flat or horizontally, but always aloft and free, like America, you know? And get this one. This is the one that always is the kicker for me. When I watch people going around yelling at people, wear the flag, they're the most patriotic, you should never burn the flag. They wear the flag. They wear the flag as a shirt. They wear the flag on their shirt. This isn't the flag. It's symbology from the flag. But they will literally wear the flag. Is the best part. The flag should never be used as wearing apparel, bedding, or drapery. The flag should never be used as wearing apparel, bedding, or drapery. So you guys, if you're getting upset about people burning it, stop wearing it. Stop wearing it as your bikini. Stop wearing it as your top hat. Stop wearing it as your shorts and your shirt. You know? And that's all I have to say about that. Welcome to the show. We talk about movies every day, 5 days a week at noon. Aristotle Full Throttle. Today we're talking about American movies. What are the most patriotic movies? I'm thinking about Independence Day, ID4. I think it's a silly title for a movie called Independence Day, right? Because you go like ID4, the 4th of July, okay, but independence. So the I stands for in, and the D stands for dependence, and the 4 stands for July 4th. Oh wait, no, the D stands for day. I stands for independence, the D stands for day, and the 4 stands for July 4th. These are the things I've learned throughout my life being American. It's digital. We realized we were off. Oh, you realized you were off? Oh, okay. So that's a bonus, right? I hope you get a paid holiday today. Working from home. Will, what do you do? If you don't mind my asking. Curious. My father's here. Hello. Did I catch myself? I don't know what I caught myself doing. Yeah, I might have flown off the handle a little bit. I got a little upset about people's hypocrisy in the world. You know, I get upset sometimes when I'm like, people are hypocritical about certain things. They go, that doesn't make me happy, so now I'm angry at this fact, and therefore you're wrong. And I realize it's really difficult to wrestle with that concept. It's difficult to wrestle with some people who are just, they're angry at you for not placating their feelings. Even though you present them with actual facts, they get angry with you. Why do they get angry with you? Because they feel a bad feeling inside, and they don't want to deal with that feeling, and they don't want to reconcile with that feeling. Perhaps there are ways to deliver information that is better and nice and more kind. However, some people just in wondering why they feel that way. They have no interest in looking inward and saying, why is it that this makes me gay? IT for suburban school district in my area. Interesting, Will. I should put you in contact with my old drummer, Oliver. He does technologically. And I do this. This is fun. Sometimes I'll do this. Sometimes I'll play. I do like this song. There's so much noise going on. I'm sorry. Yeah. What's up, Duty? We were just talking about you. We were hoping you would arrive just in time for this discussion. Independence Day. Remember Will Smith was like the king of every summer blockbuster for a few years in a row until Wild Wild West came out. And then you were like, Will, your magical combination of being so charismatic, starring in a Hollywood blockbuster, usually involving some kind of science fiction, and also you creating a hit song for the soundtrack has not worked with Wild Wild West. I'm sorry. You had a good thing going there up until Wild Wild West. And then you started to become way more dramatic actor. Which is fine. That's fine. Yeah, graphic design, yeah, these are... It's interesting that you say that these are safe havens for people. Hey, Kimmy. Hope everybody's enjoying their day off or their 4th of July in the United States, their holiday. It's interesting, Will, that you say that what you do is a haven usually for musicians and creative types, because it's true. Oftentimes I really do enjoy doing stuff like photography and photo retouching so that I can listen to music while I do it. It's really difficult. I used to do, obviously, not I used to, I will get back to it at some point, doing heavily edited television shows, YouTube shows, television shows. See, I'm way ahead of myself here. One day, I used to do so much editing, and it would just be like a rabbit hole of using my ears and my eyes for hours at a time, and it would drain me because I could not engage with music while I did that, or some kind of audio format. I'm listening to wrong notes being played on these demos. It's great. So we got somebody on Twitch. Hello, Twitch out there. How are you? If you can comment, here's the chat. Let me find the chat room here. I'm still learning the ropes here. The digital ropes, as it were. Speaking of ropes, you ever see the movie Rocky, and Rocky 2, and Rocky 3, and Rocky 4? Have you ever seen that movie? It stars Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers is Apollo Creed. And he fights Rocky in the first one and in the second one. And epically, legendarily, at the end of Rocky 3, and we never know who wins that match. That's a great scene in the end of Rocky 3. You guys remember that? Rocky and after Apollo Creed and Rocky, they mend fences because Apollo is like, you need to fight like a colored fighter. That was when I think it was still okay to say colored or people of color, black people. And then they go down to downtown, and this is Rocky 3 I'm talking about. After Rocky beats Apollo Creed by 1 second, Rock, 1 second. He beats him by 1 second. At the end of Rocky 2, spoiler alert, Rocky gets up quicker. He gets up 1 second quicker. That's the only... So they're evenly matched. It just happened that Rocky had this much more heart than Apollo Creed. This much more. Apollo Creed and Rocky were evenly matched. I don't care what you say. They were an even match. Apollo won the first one by decision. Rocky won the second one by 1 second. So they were even. Even Stevens. And Rock is like... Rocky 3, one of my favorite movies of the Rockies. One of my favorite Rockies between Rocky 2 and Rocky 4. It's good because it's entertaining, it's quick, you get in there, you get out, you get the story, you get the heart. But Rocky 4 is probably one of not just the greatest Rocky movies ever, one of the greatest movies ever in the history of the world that's about boxing and how boxing ended the Cold War. That is definitely the best movie about how boxing won the Cold War. Rocky 4. But in Rocky 3, Apollo Creed's like, Rock, we need to run on the beach together. We need to hug each other with our muscles oiled up. I don't know if you noticed that. There's a lot of oiled up muscles in Rocky movies. It's like, I don't know if it's an intimidation factor. I don't know what the goal of that is, but he's like, you need to fight like a colored boxer, and you need to go to downtown LA. And they're in LA training. It's pretty amazing, Rocky 3, the training sequence, because he's jumping rope, and he's punching bags. Half of the Rocky movies are just him working out. It's like it's really a workout video, if you think about it. The Rocky movies are all workout videos. My favorite being Rocky 4. He climbs a mountain. He's in the snow. It's like, he's like, hey, look, this is how you could do training in the snow. I'm gonna put a thing on my shoulders and go like this. I'm gonna do a lot of this. And then they're going to show the Russian in Rocky 4. They're going to show parallel action with the Russian, Drago, punching things, but with like technological things. You don't want to get too technological. See, there's a statement being made in Rocky 4 that you can create the most perfectly designed boxer with technology and communism, but you can't give him that heart that an American has, because America has heart, and Rocky is American, and therefore he's much gooder. It just looked like Drago was angry all the time. I'm just angry. I don't want to be. He's like, I don't want to fight for. And then at the end of Rocky 4, Drago's like, I fought for this country because they made me to, but I want to fight this last round for me. And then you kind of feel for Drago a little bit. That's the beauty of Rocky 4. Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, I mean. We could just call him Rocky from now on. It's okay. People call him the Italian Stallion in real life, and that's his nickname in the movie. So we could just call Sylvester Stallone the Italian Stallion. It's funny because he says, hey, he's I'm going to fight this last round for me, Drago says. And then Rocky's like, ugh. And Drago's like, to the end. To the end. And then he gets his ass beat. He earns his respect. We earn respect. Why do fighters always earn respect for each other after pummeling the crap out of each other? I feel like that's like a man thing. I think men we're like, ugh, I don't like you. I don't like you. Let's punch each other's faces until one of us gives up, and then we'll like each other. America, people. So Rocky wins. He wins the Cold War. After he's like, if I could change, then you could change. Then Gorbachev, tear down that wall. I don't know if that's how it went, but that's how I remember it, and that's how it should have gone. Yeah, there's so much glistening flesh in the Rocky movies. Lots of punching, lots of slow motion punching. Yeah, but it's funny watching Rocky 3 again because they show a lot of footage of downtown Los Angeles and Skid Row in that area, and it hasn't changed much. It actually hasn't changed much. You could go to the downtown Skid Row area and be like, I remember Rocky 3. Where's Apollo's gym? But sadly, Apollo Creed gets killed in Rocky 4. Man, did they raise the stakes. In comedy, in movies, and all kinds of things, they always want to give you have to raise the stakes in order for the same joke to be funny. It makes the same joke funny. So when they got to Rocky 4, they were like, well, we'd made this movie 3 times already. What can we do? Well, we could tear down communism and kill the hero and kill one of our heroes. And that worked. That seemed to work. Got us on board. Guys, I like being caffeinated with you. It's fun. Makes me feel shot out of a cannon. You know, it's interesting. Ooh, I got to catch up on some of these these comments. Sorry, guys. You got buried there a little bit. 1 second. Hey, training and stuff. Technology and communism. Yes. Oh, I see that you're on Periscope. So some of you guys are talking to me on Twitter, I see, which is good. Yes, please. Oh, this is an important fact. I'm not good at this. I'm learning the ropes here. Because we're using a lot of Rocky analogies. I'm learning the ropes here, guys. And I'm trying to figure out how to do this right, you know. Hey, Rock, before we're done here, I'll be eating nails. I never tried snails before. No, Rock, I said nails. Nails. Anyway, I'm losing the thread here, but you guys should like what you're watching. Like it. Push the like buttons. Push the follow buttons. Push the share buttons. Push the retweet buttons. Do all the buttons. Tap the screen for the hearts. I like the little hearts. It helps. It turns out that helps. Because I do this for my... I'm not just doing this for my health. I'm also doing this for likes and comments and your participation. And hopefully to bring a smile to your face. Or just to have on in the background as some kind of lulling device in case you're tired and want to go to sleep. You can just put me on at night and pass the heck out. I watched the Rockies last year because I was too young to appreciate them when I had seen them and got the adult perspective, and like, wow, I didn't catch that. Or, yeah, Veronica, I watched all of the Rockies probably every year. I watch all of the Rockies every year, probably. Definitely Rocky 4. I will put that movie on because it's like a nice snack. It's like a nice filling snack. I'll just put it on. It's 90 minutes. It comes out swinging. It's got James Brown. It's got Apollo Creed in there, and he dies very sadly. We won't like to watch Apollo Creed. First movie, he was the villain. Fourth movie, he was like, no, don't die, Apollo Creed. We love you. And then he's like falling. He's on the mat. He's twitching. Speaking of Twitch, hey guys on Twitch, feel free to comment. I've got a chat window open here. Look at this. I've got 3 viewers on Twitch. This is exciting. I see you. Here's another thing. I'm going to be, Tuesday night, I'm going to be on a guest on my friend Greg Benson's channel, Mediocre Films. So if you're on Twitch, go subscribe to Mediocre Films and be a fan of his because he's hilarious. That guy is very funny, very entertaining guy. You should watch his show. I'm going to be a guest on there, and I'm very excited. I'm excited. I'm going to put my American flag spangled hat on. I watch all the Rockies every year. It's just, there's just so much heart going on in there. Sylvester Stallone invented the idea of having a heart. Before 1976, there were no hearts. 1977 or whenever, I guess it was 76. The first Rocky, maybe, yeah. Nobody even had a heart inside their chest before Sylvester Stallone came along. And then every movie he does, he's He always designs his films. You might have an underappreciation for Sylvester Stallone, but it might be because of his speech impediment. You might assume that he is not the brightest bulb on the candelabra. But he is actually quite the genius. It's just his tongue is half dead. It's not his fault. He's a really, really smart filmmaker, and he's invented the whole concept of like the Karate Kid. He invented the whole concept of the underdog. He, in a way that he perfected it. I'm not gonna say he invented it. He perfected. I mean, there are movies that came out before that, but Rocky was like, hey, remember Rocky? Let's do 12 of them because you like this formula and you will like it every time. I promise. And every single one of his movies is actually quite good in some level, because you could tell that he always adds some element of good storytelling, even if the movie is daylight or cliffhanger. Do not follow me, I'm serious. Unlike Schwarzenegger, Stallone has two iconic characters that will follow him for the rest of his life and can tell which franchise. Hey, look, you didn't see Twins? You don't think that's an iconic character? What about Kindergarten Cop? That's a Commando? Come on now, Dooney. Terminator is, of course, the iconic recurring character, but I see what you're saying. Stallone has Rambo and Rocky, and they both start with the letter R. And they're both underdog movies. They're both everyone's against him. Rambo is kind of an interesting series. I just finished watching a month ago. I just watched the new Rambo, First Blood, Second Blood, Part 7, Second Blood 40. I don't know how he titles these movies, but he generally has a weird, awkward title, like the second movie, which was co-written by Sylvester Stallone and James Cameron, by the way. The second Rambo movie was called Rambo First Blood Part 2. Rambo First Blood Part 2. Very difficult. It's a mouthful. They should have just called it Rambo 1 First Blood Part 2 Rambo -7. I don't know. But then they just went with Rambo 3, and then John Rambo, and then they went with John Rambo Part 2. I don't know what the latest Rambo was called. I forgot. My father likes all of the Stallone movies. I can vouch for that. He does. I feel like in underdog movies that are very American, they appeal to our ideal of the American dream. Jake A., thank you very much for chiming in on Twitch. I appreciate you jumping platforms like that. And Jake, I got your message yesterday. Let's talk about that. I'm sorry I didn't have time to reply. I was driving and reading your message, and you shouldn't do that. Yes, the Rambo series are ridiculously fun. I mean, if you like I wouldn't call it gratuitous violence. I would call it gratuitous and over-the-top violence. That's what I would call it. Because the Rambo movies, he's just like, I am Rambo. I will chop your arm off with a machete and then, like, stick a bow and arrow in your eyeball. Like, it's very violent. And that's what you get when you get a Rambo movie. And it's because it's America. He fought for the Green Beret. He's a Green Beret. He's an American, and Americans will kill you. This is basically the message that we send out in our American cinema. We're American. We'll kill you. Has anyone ever noticed that? I mean, it feels good to be the tough guy. It feels good to be the underdog, like, oh, don't squash us. We will rain fire, hellfire upon thee. We will shoot an exploding bow and arrow into you. We will rescue our folks. It feels good, right? But at the same time, it's kind of bullyish, isn't it? It's mixed feelings. Lots of things can exist at the same time. We could say, don't squash us, aliens from outer space in Independence Day. We're Americans, and all of the world will celebrate American Independence Day on Independence Day. I think that's hilarious.
It's American Independence Day. For the world.
Just think of all the weird mixed messages that movie sends. I mean, Jeff Goldblum using a Mac? Rambo Last Blood, thank you. My father corrected me on that. It's Rambo Last Blood, until the next Last Blood. Second to Last Blood 2. That's what the next one's going to be called. Rambo, One More Blood Again. I don't ever think he's going to end. Stallone, I'm pretty sure, makes a movie just so he can get back into shape. Get back, like, to fighting. Like, he's like, at Rocky 2, the weird, get a wedding. Yeah, Rocky 2, get a wedding and a baby. Don't forget the baby. Baby Rocky. Rocky 3, they kill the penguin. Oh, yeah, Burgess Meredith gets it in that one. Spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, but that's halfway through the movie. You think it's going to be... You think Rocky 3 does break format a little bit. Midway, they get you because the penguin's like... He's got a heart attack. He dies. Very sad. It's very sad. You will cry if you have any ounce of humanity in you. If you have any ounce of humanity in you. But then that's how we learn to love Apollo Creed in the way we do. Rocky 4, they kill Action Jackson. Action Jackson. He's like, I'm bailing on this franchise and starting my own called Action Jackson, which will never be renewed for no apparent reason, because it actually did quite well at the box office, but nobody wanted to keep making a movie starring Carl Weathers. Isn't that interesting? Action Jackson just fell to the ground because nobody wanted to pick it up. It was a Joel Silver production, by the way. I read about this. I read about Action Jackson. And in Rocky 5, original Rocky was supposed to die, but it tested very poorly. I feel you on that. You know what also tested? I'm not going to go there. Sue me for what? Sue me for what? Remember that? That's the only part I like about Rocky 4 is that they use actual illegal violence. At the end, they use some street fighting. You're just waiting for the fight in the Rocky movies, aren't you? You know, the problem was that Tommy Gunn in the movie, did not have the charisma of a new Rocky, because I guess they were trying to hand off the series to a new guy, and then they had Tommy Morrison, and he... Not a very charismatic guy. Not as charismatic anyway. Tommy Gunn. Touch me and I'll sue. Sue me for what? I'm poor. And I just violently beat up people in the street using street fighting methods like punching someone's leg. Hey, Valhallen. Nice to see you. Cliffhanger and Daylight, Dad's faves. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about Cliffhanger and Daylight. How about The Expendables? That's one we can agree on. I love the Expendables movies. I can't get enough of the Expendables movies. Put them on a 6-hour loop, and I will just watch it all day long because I like it. It's unabashedly just shooting and punching. I like when a movie is unabashedly exactly what it's supposed to be. Like the John Wick movies. John Wick is going around shooting people up. Canadian, Lebanese, American Keanu Reeves is going around kicking everyone's ass. And it's because he's doing these amazing stunts designed by incredible stunt performers, directed by former stunt directors. And I think it's really fun to watch. Why not, right? Let's see. Jake says, is there a patriotic movie that doesn't involve killing people or lots of violence? You know what? I guess The Music Man. I'm going to watch The Music Man with my friend David tomorrow. I used to like that movie. I mean, I remember loving that movie as a kid. So hopefully I still like it. Though I was watching a clip of it and I was like, there's not a single person of color in this movie. But I guess that's okay because, you know, Hollywood. But I do like the heart that movie. I don't think there's too much punching in that one. But that's a great question. Is there a patriotic American movie where we don't talk about war, where we don't propagate the idea that war is how we are mighty, that we are the winners of all wars, except for like the last 5 wars that we fought, except for the first Gulf War. We won that one decisively, 1991 or 1992. We won the Gulf War. We accomplished the goal in 93 days, and only, sadly, some Americans had to die during that, but we did it. Since then, not so much. We just keep losing. America has got all of the tanks, all of the things, many, many times. We have an armed forces that is many, 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 many times stronger than the second-sized armed forces. Yet, we still want to keep spending money buying more arms instead of reinvesting that into the people. Instead of defunding the police and funding education, funding social work, funding drug rehabilitation, funding different ways to resolve conflicts. Dr. Strangelove. How we learn to love the bomb. That's a good one. There is a bomb dropped in that, though. That does kind of have violence in it. Though I am a patriot, I am also not super happy about how things are going right now. I'm not sure how you feel about things are going. Things seem to be in a moment of transition, would you say? Do you feel me on that? Do you think that right now that we're transitioning from an America that was lesser to an America that's closer to what the idea is, or do you think we're getting further away from what the idea of America is? Because now we're starting to understand and respect the idea that not all Americans have been feeling the same thing. It's not been the same experience for all of us. Do not follow me. I'm serious. That's your screen name. I'm just repeating it. I'll call you Dooney. Says Tommy Morrison's career went straight down the drain. Yes, it did. Commando, though, listen, Dooney, you're right. Sylvester Stallone has now like at least three franchise movies where he's the central piece. Rocky movies, even all the way up through Creed movies. I love the Creed movies. I love all the Rocky movies except for 5, and I love all the Creed movies. And then he's got the Rambo movies, which are hysterically violent. But that's what you get. And he's got the Expendables, as opposed to Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's got like 15 Terminator movies, 2 of which are great. All of the Terminator movies are great, all the way up to Terminator 2. Hey, Shy. Nice to see you. What's going on, Shy? Are you shy? That's an inside joke. Welcome to the show, Aristotle Full Throttle. I should do another station identification. I've learned this in college when I was doing my college radio show. You got to do this like every 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes. This is the Aristotle Full Throttle program you're watching 5 days a week, every day at noon. If you're watching on whatever platform, please like this video, share it with your mom. Put it on your 4th of July sponge cake with blueberries, whipped cream, and strawberries so that it resembles the American iconography. Put this show on that and then eat it. If you can, I suggest you do. What other movies are patriotic that we, my thumbnail alone, I talked about the Rocky movies, I talked about Independence Day movies. Independence Day 2, come on, guys, that movie was not as good as it could have been. Not that the first one was super great, but I remember the first one just being a fun ride, and that might have been the first time I went to the theater and the first time I went to the movies where it was like a 2-hour nonstop awesome fun ride was probably, I don't know, Terminator 2, and the Indiana Jones movies are like that too. They're just adventure, they're fun, you just get swept up in the action and you're just going and having a good time, and you can shut off your brain and throw popcorn down your gullet and enjoy non-stop action, adventure, and fun, and get lost for 2 hours in the summer. Stay inside a nice air-conditioned giant room and then go outside in the 100-degree heat and go, oh man, let's go in the pool. That's what I did sometimes in the summer. I would walk, my friend Scott Murray and I would walk to the movies, which seemed like so far away. And now when I revisit the town I grew up in, Islip, the Islip movie theater, it's only just a matter of, it's maybe like a half mile away, a mile away from where I grew up. I don't even know. I could probably map it, but I think it's pretty funny because it seemed like such a distance to Islip Theater. I'm gonna see how long of a walk that is, but when you're a kid, you got smaller legs. I don't want to know how long it takes to walk from here to the theater. Jeez. It would take 42 hours to drive there from here. Sorry, guys. That's not the information I was looking for. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to tell you the actual distance. 0.7 miles. It's a 2-minute drive. It's so funny. When you're a kid and you're like, I'm going to walk all the way to the movie theater, that's like so far away. I got to walk past the cannons, make a right on Main Street. Yeah. Or I could cut behind that bank, which is now a steakhouse. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you're from Islip, if you're watching on Facebook, you might be from Islip. You might know what I'm talking about. A lot of my friends have been chiming in, ones I've grown up with when I was very young. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. That is a good one. Yeah, that is about arguing for Americanness. And it stars our favorite James Stewart. Have I talked about The Patriot yet, Jake asks. Funny you should ask. That's also directed by Roland Emmerich, who directed the Independence Days. Jake, I know you've been watching the show for a few years now, and you might have seen an episode. Sounded like a car crash out there. You might have seen episodes where I talk about Roland Emmerich and how much I love to hate Roland Emmerich. I just don't find his movies good. I found Independence Day quite entertaining, and that was the first time we got to watch the White House blow up. And boy, do I replay that image in my head over and over again right now. These days, I can't get enough of that image. Especially when there's protesters outside. I just want to... You know, it's a federal offense to threaten the life of the president, so I won't. But I will imagine the White House exploding from the movie Independence Day and not having anything to do with the actual president being in there. I have no anger toward him. So, my feeling toward Roland Emmerich is not a warm one. I saw The Patriot. Actually, let me correct myself. I went into the theater to watch The Patriot, and within 7 minutes, I walked out because, first of all, I don't like the movie. I couldn't handle it. I was like, this is gonna suck. Let's leave. And my friends and I, we were like, yeah, this looks like it's already trying too hard. There's kids playing in a field. There's butterflies. And now you're like, oh, Roland Emmerich, you're trying to get us to care about your movie. That's cute. I could tell what you're doing. I see you. I'm leaving. I just couldn't handle the idea of sitting through an entire movie called The Patriot with, I was going to say Australians in it as leads. However, Heath Ledger is an Australian. Though Mel Gibson grew up in Australia, he was born in New York State. He's American. That's maybe a new fact for you, but he's just a homegrown American racist. He's not an Australian racist. However, Australia has tons of racism to go around. But they apologized, actually, publicly for a lot of their systemic racism recently. But, you know, they keep it going. They keep it going real strong. A friend of mine spent a lot of time in Australia. He spends time there. He goes there to do like genomics and stuff. And I remember a few years ago he came back from Australia having spent a month there And I was like, yeah, so how is Australia? I've never been there. I'm like, how is it there? And he's like, oh, you know, it's just like America. Racist. It's kind of a weird wake-up call, isn't it, everybody? That we're all like, oh, yeah, America's totally racist. Every single rap artist who's black and every single comedian who is black has been joking for decades about police brutality. For decades. And now we're like, oh, you guys are serious. Oh, I see what you're saying now. I think that's hilarious. Just go back, watch Dave Chappelle in the 90s, listen to Public Enemy, listen to NWA. It's been decades and decades of rappers and black artists just saying, hey, guys, isn't it funny how much the police beat up black people? You know, being ironical. And, you know, now that it's like, oh, well, yeah, I guess maybe we should do something about that, huh? The movie Miracle. Ooh, Miracle. What movie is that? I don't know. That's a good one, though. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Wow, that was 1939? Holy crap. Jimmy Stewart is old. He's got to be at least 110 years old now. Half Mile. Yep. I see here, it's probably a half mile if I take the back roads from my old house to the cinema. This is just the street. The street drive is 0.7 miles from my house to the thing, but if I cut through the back streets, it's probably about a half mile. That's so funny. It seemed so far away, Mom. It seemed like forever away. I remember the cannons. There's a I don't know. If you grew up in America, there are often statues, parks, monuments built in parks. Often, like, and I refer to them as the cannons, which is hilarious because there are cannons. It's often a display of force. Because America, damn it, we've got guns, and they're big, and we'll shoot you with them. We'll blow you up with bombs. We're America, and that's what we do. Damn it. Isn't that funny? You know what we also do? We innovate. We educate. We make breakthroughs in science. That, we don't really show that. We show Jeff Goldblum being that guy in the movie. Hey, you know what? That's a silver lining to the movie Independence Day. Jeff Goldblum uses science to destroy the aliens. Spoiler alert. He creates a computer virus. He uses asymmetric warfare against the aliens. And then they say, hey, remember the movie War of the Worlds, where a small virus is what actually infects the common cold, infects the aliens, and that's why the aliens die off and quickly. They all get killed by the coronavirus, essentially, because the common cold is a coronavirus. The War of the Worlds movie was very terrifying as a kid. That idea that these aliens are just completely indiscriminately destroying humans, yet they die from a cold. And I think it's important, guys, on Instagram, if you guys want to keep watching, you can hop over to Twitch, you can hop over to AristotleFullThrottle.com and continue watching. But it's really funny because a lot of people are like, we're distancing. We're doing our thing. We're washing our hands. We're wearing our masks, right? They're saying this. But you know what's telling the truth about all of this? The numbers. The numbers that are coming out are actually showing the actual behaviors of humans. So I find it very funny. And when I say funny, I mean incredibly ironic and not funny. That humans are very convinced that we convince ourselves that we are doing the things correctly, and then when we're bending the rules or going out without the mask or not washing our hands or not being 100% diligent, What's going to prove your behavior is the numbers. So, yeah, let's be Americans. Let's be strong. Let's show our might. Let's unite and fight this virus by doing the things we got to do. Just put on a mask. Stay 6 feet apart. Don't go to the parties that are gigantic parties. Don't go to gigantic parties, okay? If you see there's like 1 billion people at a party, just do the right thing. Be an American. Be strong. Come together. We don't have any actual leader to tell us this. All the way at the top. The failure has virus. It'll go away. It won't. So I call upon you, my fellow Americans and humans, to join in the fight against this common enemy called the coronavirus. We can beat it, you and I. It's going to be tough. It's going to take a while. But if we stick together and remain strong, if we do the things we need to do, look, I'm being Bill Pullman in Independence Day. I'm being the president. We can defeat this enemy. God bless you. God bless your families. And God bless the United States of America. God damn it. You know what? I could say this. I could be like, this is what America should do. Right now, I've instructed the Joint Chiefs of Staff to develop new weaponry, tiny nuclear missiles, to destroy each and every one of those coronaviruses. We have shrunken down. We have multiplied Carl Weathers by trillions. Shrunk him down using Rick Moranis' ray gun from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids to tiny microscopic Apollo creeds. We put red, white, and blue spangled banner shorts on each and every one of these tiny Apollo creeds. And they're going to punch this virus. They're going to punch this virus into outer space, where we will shoot tiny nuclear missiles at it. And this is what we've decided to do in this Roland Emmerich reality that I've just created, starring Apollo Creed. Go with me on this journey, everybody. We can do this. You, me, and tiny Apollo Creeds. What do you say? I think that'll work. No? Nobody? No takers? Well, damn it. This is Apollo Creed. I was in the movie Predator. I will punch this virus right in the face. I will end this war. We need to send in Rockies and Apollo Creeds to punch this virus out. We just have to stop testing for the virus and it will go away, Jake A says, yes. I, as your president, have decided to beat this virus by not looking at it. By closing my eyes and turning in this direction, I can't see one single virus. In fact, I can't see them at all. So therefore, if we don't try to look for it using any type of instruments or testing, we've defeated it. Just like the boogeyman. Actually, it's not a boogeyman, it's real. Guys on Instagram, if you want to keep watching, I'm going to goof around for another 5 or 10 minutes over on YouTube, on Twitch. I suggest you go over to Twitch. I'm going to start building up the Twitch channel, and it'll be fun. See you guys on Monday. All right, we got rid of those Instagram guys. Now it's just us. Those chumps. Now, I love everybody who watches. I might also broadcast on TikTok, which is crazy because you can do that. I'll have to use another device. I have another device, a Galaxy Pad, so that might happen soon. Bruce Willis in the Die Hard series, the last, yeah. My father and I agree that Bruce Willis is probably the most patriotic. Yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay, let me go get my harmonica. You know how Bruce Willis fights these bad guys, he uses his harmonica. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put on Die Hard 3 right now. And I'm going to start watching that while I get ready to try to make another TikTok. I don't have any ideas for a new TikTok. If you guys have an idea, let me know. Maybe I'll just do tiny Apollo Creeds fighting off coronaviruses. Die Hard with a Vengeance, right? When I saw Die Hard with a Vengeance in the theater, there's a big explosion, a very key pivotal moment, an explosion on a boat in the movie, and I was in the movie theater, and then the film broke. So right at that moment, the film broke, and I was so upset. I was like, what happened? And then we're all sitting there for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then they had to fix it. And then we were all bummed out, but as we left the theater, they gave us all free tickets. So as we were leaving the theater, the ushers were just handing us passes, like, oh, sorry about the mess up. Here's a free movie. You get a free movie because we messed up. And then, so what did I do with that free pass? I watched Die Hard with a Vengeance again the next night. Because, you know, kids. I once was working as an usher at that very same theater, and once when Good Will Hunting was out in the movie theater, and I was very excited about that movie. I watched it a bunch of times while I was working there, and the film broke, and they could only hear the audio for the last couple minutes, and then it just stopped for just a couple minutes. So then there was this group of women who, I mean, I guess a group of people. Their gender it's not important to the story. But there was a group of people, and they were like, what happened in the rest of the movie? While I was cleaning up after the movie, and I had to describe the last 15 minutes of Good Will Hunting to them. I'm like, and then his friend's like, what are you doing? I want you to get out of here. Get out of here. Go see about a girl. And then I described that entire end of that movie to this group of folks who missed it. But, guys, I hope you have a happy 4th of July. I hope that you reflect upon the values of America versus the actions of America, and understand that two things can exist at once. You can love your country. You can love the ideas behind your country. However, you can also want to work to make it better. And that's what I hope that we all can do. Make America great again? I don't think so, everybody. America has always been on the journey and on the road to greatness. It has not met its destiny, but we are along for this journey, and we will go for the twists and turns and endure the storms that we encounter. And however far I want to take this metaphor, we can go all the way. Live free or die hard. I liked that one too. I really did. It has Kevin Smith. Live Free or Die Hard has my friends in it, a band called Flyleaf. They're in there. They're in the movie. There's a song. Their song, I'm so sick, so affected with where I live. Let me live about this. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with my singing. I'm going to bore you with the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. My Twitch is going to build up. I'm going to have I hope that you guys can go over to Twitch. My friends, I'm making some friends over on Twitch. There might be some type of gaming, some type of fun that we'll play there. Maybe movie trivia, maybe music trivia, maybe all of the above. If you like those kinds of things, go over to Twitch, Aristotle Full Throttle. We're going to turn that into a fun place to hang out and make jokes and have fun. I think I've said it all. I've got nothing left to say. I'm going to eat a bowl of alphabet cereal and form new words for you guys on Monday. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the good weather. Please wash your damn hands and don't eat too many hot dogs. I don't know. Eat many hot dogs. Okay, bye guys. Here, let's go out with some music here. Oh wait, no. Here we go. This one's much more pretty. Bye guys.